Welcome to another episode of Speak Greasy. My guest today is Chef Madhav Dayal, the very young 27-year-old head chef of Miguels, which is a Gatsby-inspired cocktail and tapas bar in Fontaine House in the Panjim neighborhood of Goa. It's so great to have you here, Chef. Welcome to the show. And how does it feel? You've just come off a fantastic 3-day mega pop-up at Max Street Kitchen.
It feels great. I just had a power nap post our final service, but amazing. Every second, every moment we spent in this kitchen was great. We had a really good time. The team was great. The kitchen is obviously a state-of-the-art and beautiful. So the service was amazing. Got a great response, and thank you for having us here. It was really, really good.
You know, I came to the restaurant when I know you weren't there. This was about a year ago, and just went in and sort of very with no sort of much expectation of anything, just like gonna go have a great meal. Jay and I went in and we did have an amazing meal. So your team does a great job even when you're not around.
Yes, I know. I didn't know that you were in, and
that's how it should be. And that's the best way to test how the kitchen's functioning. But what really amazed me was that the kitchen and the bar is essentially one, and you don't have gas, and you're doing everything on electric, and what your team churned out that day was really fantastic. And I was like, let's get these guys to Max Street. So
thank you.
But I have to say it was hilarious, because then when we connected and I said, you should think about coming to Max Street Kitchen, and you were like, well, I've never been to Bombay. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, Max Street might be like, that can wait. Come to Bombay first. So what's it been like? This is now your second trip.
Yeah. So I've always heard about this Delhi-Bombay comparison. I am from Delhi. But it's a great city. It's a lot more fun. People are a lot more down to earth, which I love about this city.
Said no one ever. But, you spend most of your time in the city, in this kitchen, unfortunately for you. But I hope you get to see more of what the city has to offer and dine, of course.
Inshallah, you get to come a lot more often to Bombay.
Yes, it's not that far from Goa, as I'm sure you've realized.
Yeah.
Chef, I'm fascinated that you are helming a kitchen at the sort of right young age of 27, and you've been doing this for the last few years. You opened the restaurant in 2020.
Yes.
So it's been 3 years already. So you were younger when you started out, and I believe you were 14 when you ventured into the culinary world. So tell us a little bit about how it all started.
Okay. So I've been always wanting to cook. Like since I was 10 years old, I started cooking. The first thing I learned to cook was a caramel custard, which my grandmother and my dad taught me, and I got obsessed with making it. So I kept making like 10 caramel custards every day, and my parents were like, what is wrong with our kid? He's just like... And I think that was kind of the problem. If I would get a recipe and then I would just keep making it every day, the same thing, 5 times, 6 times, making sure that it's perfect. And my mom went to Lady Urban College, so she had home science. So when I was 14, when I was 12, she gifted me this recipe box, like this black box, and everything was written by hand, laminated. And I would try and make every dish. And in fact, this one time I tried to make an oven at home with just foil and like wires, and I set my house on fire. And then I slowly got better, and I cooked dinner for one of my uncles one day, and he designs kitchens. So right after the dinner, he like, do you want to be a chef? I was like, I guess. And then and there he called Chef Ritu Dalmia, and he was like, Ritu, this kid wants to become a chef. I'm sending him, train him. And I was like, okay. So
wait, you were how old at this point?
That's when I was 14. Yeah. And so right out of school, I would hop on a bike, go to Diva and GK2 M Block Market, train there, burnt my hands for the first time. And I was so short that I could not stand. I couldn't get my hands on the working station. So I used to get Coca-Cola crates and stand on them and chop or whisk or whatever. And my fundamentals and my basics were taught to me by Chef Ritu and her team there. And I
So
just
how long did you do that for?
give or take 3 to 4 months, summer vacation and a little bit before summer vacation. And I just fell in love. I didn't stop cooking. Then I started going for cooking competitions. I took home science in my 11th and 12th grade in school. And then my parents were like, he's great in cooking, so we should support it. And my whole journey, like, my parents were extremely supportive. I was not a good student in school, and so then I went. My family decided to send me to Switzerland and CSRS colleges. Uh, Studied there, and then I went to Gaggan in Bangkok. That's where I learned about the culinary world, about the 50 best, fine dining. There's a lot more than butter chicken in life.
But that's quite a jump, from culinary school as well to go and, start a restaurant like Gaggan, one of the top restaurants in the world. And there's a really interesting fact that chefs are open to having youngsters, freshers, and allowing them into the kitchen. I mean, what's that experience been like working with some of the best, the country and the world have to offer?
Working at Gaggan was crazy. There's a lot of information that you have to continue to grasp and adapt. And obviously, it's a restaurant, right? It's a business that's running on a daily basis. So the chefs there don't have time to really teach you or educate you. You have to make sure that whatever job that you've been given, you do it quick, efficient, and fast, so that you have enough time to learn more from the chefs. And you're not the only stars there. It's a team of 60 chefs. 30 of them are stages. So you're not the only one. You really have to push and make sure that you stand out so that you can absorb and learn as much as you can. And to be honest, I was the shittiest stars they could have ever had. I was really bad. One of the dishes we served at Mag Street was the achapams with the mushroom pate or chicken liver pate. So I used to fuck up making achapams at Gaggan all the time. I couldn't even make 5. So I got obsessed with making them, and I was like, I'm going to make sure I'll make them for the rest of my life.
So we're going to have that on every tasting menu ever.
Always. Yeah, it's never going to go. It's always going to be then.
But, you went straight to staging with Gaggan out of college. What did you do after that? Did you feel like you wanted to come back to India? And, you worked with, again, Diva, and you also worked with their catering arm.
Yes. So after Gaggan, I sent Chef Ritu an email that I'm graduating from college. She's like, meet me. I went to meet her. She's like, kal se kaam shuru kar le beta. I'm like, okay, chef, fine. So started working in her base kitchen, and yeah, did catering. That's met Chef Mauro Colagreco, Enrique Pujol there, and the catering that's like next level catering. Like, that's not even like a normal catering business. You're traveling around the country or around the globe. We're designing kitchens in the middle of nowhere. So it was. I learned more about the logistics and like the whole back game. More than just the cooking. It's not about just mise en place anymore. It's about designing a kitchen. For certain events, there were like 15 restaurants for one event, and you had to arrange a kitchen, all their ingredients and everything for one place. So that was the turning point where I realized that there's so much more that you have to learn to become a chef than just learn how to cook. So that's when I think I actually grew and was able to apply and learn a lot more.
But they're two very different, obviously, cuisines and, styles of cooking. And you went from like super fine dine tasting menu to, like mass catering for, I'm sure like several hundred people, obviously with an Italian focus, and then whoever the chefs were you were working with, very different. Where was your kind of style of cooking kind of developing through all of this?
That's a really good question.
Because you then went on to open the restaurant, as far as I understand, right? So
initially, like any chef, you train, you learn whether you learn your mother sauces or you learn from Indian, you learn your basic masalas, and then you learn how to cook. And you learn traditional dishes, whether it's from any country or any cuisine. But after a point, what happens is that you stop looking at dishes or like your forte does not become dishes or mother sauces. It becomes flavor profiles. It becomes like a palette, like an artist would have one. So you would an artist would learn like how to sketch, or will learn cubism, or will learn a specific art form, and then they build their own art form eventually, right? So that's what you also learn, that like there's Italian, there's French, there's Nordic, there's Japanese, and how can you take the best from all of them and put it on a plate the way you would want to put it. That's why, a lot of people ask you this question. They're like, oh, what cuisine do you do? I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to answer that, yeah.
I remember when we opened the table and we said we're a globally inspired menu, and everyone was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, but what's the cuisine? And I'm like, there is none. That's the point.
That's the point.
But I think that at that time it was still a novelty, and now it's giving chefs that freedom to pretty much do what you want and take inspiration from wherever you want, and that's exactly what I think is becoming more and more the norm, right? Like when you go to restaurants now, it's maybe as a leaning towards something like obviously yours has towards Konkani and Goan and Portuguese sort of flavors or ingredients, but then you bring your achapams to it and there's a whole different twist, right? But I have to ask, going from staging and working with Ritu's operations, it's still a big leap to open your own restaurants. So how did that happen?
First, I'll tell you how Miguel's kind of happened, because I was still working in Diva, and Ankush Gujral is married to one of my cousin sisters. So I met him at a wedding, and he was like, dude, I'm moving to Goa, and I'm opening a small cocktail bar with one of my friends, and I can't just sell alcohol. I need to have food, and I don't know any other chef. So why don't you come to Goa? Oh, just click, do a small kitchen, do some sliders, train the staff, take some consultancy money, and then go back to Chef Ritu. I cannot get in the middle with you and Chef Ritu. You do your thing, but just come and like kind of sort us out. I was like, sure. My first gig of doing something on my own. So I told him, let me come to Goa, show you what I can do, and then we could take a call. So I went to Goa and I did a pop-up kind of a thing in his house for around 30 odd people. And that's where I met Mr. Dhruv Tuteja, Mr. Tutsi, who's the mixologist and the co-owner. And we hit it off. Everything that I had left over from my dishes, he used it as a garnish in his cocktails. We did the food and cocktail pairing thing that day in his house itself. And we're like, holy shit, this just makes sense. And they were like, Madhav, let's just go for
now
it.
Can you leave? Like,
We get it. And like, and they were also sitting and they were like, do we want to just hire a 24-year-old as a head chef? Like, and they're like, yeah, let's just do it. I was like, okay, let's just do it. And I told Chef Ritu that I'm going to go out to a restaurant. She like, okay. I was like, okay. I just gave a reservation.
Never like crossed your mind that like it's not just like me putting together a menu, but I'm actually going to be leading a team and
nothing. I just took that leap of faith. I did not think of anything. I just was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a tasting menu. I'm going to do this. That I'm going to go crazy. I want a national. I want this. That's it. I just got excited and I just took that jump. That's about it.
It's that crazy 14-year-old that streak that's clearly lasted through. But it's amazing. Kudos. There's obviously something in there. How would you sort of, describe the food of Miguel's?
As much as we like to be Konkani Portuguese in nature, there's a lot to Miguel's. The main thing of what Miguel's is all about is cocktails and Petiscos. So the idea is that within 120 square feet, there's a kitchen and a bar where they all come together. So this is the way, if you go to a bar, the bartender interacts with you, the chefs interact with you the same way. So you don't have to have a tasting menu. We will still interact with you. Even if you're just going to have one dish, we'll make sure that we will serve you the best dish ever. So a lot of guests actually come in and they're like, we don't understand the menu, we want something off the menu. We do that for them as well. So the point of Miguel's is to provide an experience tailored to whoever walks in and whatever they want to have. That's the idea.
And your kitchen actually runs entirely on electricity, which was another thing. I was like, what is going on here? How are they churning this stuff out?
Yeah, there are 4 inductions, 1 oven and 2 undercounter fridges.
That's different from my 3 kitchen.
A little bit. Yeah. We don't have a back kitchen, no storage, nothing. That's it. Like what you see is what you get. Everything is prepped in front of you. Everything, all the butchery and prep is done in the morning. So before the guests come, everything is processed and then kept in. So if we run out, we run out.
So it's been 3 years at Miguel's, at the location that you are. I know that you're hugely popular with the locals as well as people coming out to visit Goa. And you're a, 25, 30 seater?
Yeah, 28.
Do you have a sort of see it growing?
No, that's a hard no. Miguel's will always be a 28-seater. We one day after about a year of opening, we sat down and we're like, what do we want to do? Do we want to open more Miguel's around the country, or do we want to like make the restaurant bigger? And I kind of just thought that, if you look at any Michelin star restaurant around the world or any well-recognized restaurant, you will see that the chef has been in that one restaurant for probably more than a decade. And they did not make the restaurant bigger. They just kept investing more and more. Like, it's like you make one dish and you just keep working on it, and that dish evolves, you evolve, the restaurant evolves, and you keep investing the same money in that restaurant, get better equipment. But Miguel's will always be a 28-seater restaurant. And we'll just make sure that we provide a better experience and keep growing with it. That's the idea.
That, I have to say, is a very sensible approach. It's very tempting, especially, when you hit sort of early success, to sort of build on that and grow. So I think that's a smart way of going about, what you've started. Tell us a little bit about the challenges, because it always looks so great from and so easy to everyone on the outside, and you make it sound like it just happened like this. Tell us a little bit about the challenges, because I know there are a lot of sort of people coming out of, whether it's culinary school or spend maybe a few years in restaurant kitchens and are ready to like open their own restaurant. And I always kind of, I'm that risk averse auditor or accountant, right? Who's always like, what? No, it takes a lot more than just a couple of years of culinary school or experience. But there are so many young chefs taking that chance and, have that faith in themselves, that belief in themselves, the confidence to do it, which is amazing. What were some of the challenges, or what would you kind of advise someone who is maybe fresh out of college today?
So, yes, first of all, we were also lucky to get the attention and the number of people that come to Miguel's. But the main challenge, especially when we opened Miguel's in Panjam, we were the first in that area. At that time, we didn't know if we would get the right equipment. We bought majority of our equipment from Delhi, and then realized we do get some of it in Goa. We made a lot of stupid mistakes. And initially, when we opened Miguel's, there were only two chefs. It was Chef Varun and I. Varun is my college roommate, and we did that for a year, but we realized that we need a bigger team. It wasn't a sustainable concept. It was great, but like, you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, we were buying the produce ourselves, we were cooking it ourselves, we were serving it, we were cleaning the kitchen ourselves. In fact, there was a point where we were even doing the dishes. We didn't have dishwashing
During service?
Yeah. Exactly. Even I don't know how that was working.
This is why you need to work in a restaurant before you open your own.
Yeah, exactly. So we made a lot of stupid mistakes and learned from it. And inshallah, like, we pushed through and overcame it and learned from it. What's happening right now is there are a lot of chefs who are going to Michelin stars or going to the 50 best restaurants around the globe. And the moment you do that, and then you come out like, "Main chef hai. I know everything." The moment you think that you know everything, that's the end. Like, that's when you're like, you're done, bro. Like, you need to realize, like, being a chef is like being a doctor studying medicine. The learning never ends. You have to always realize that, like, just because you went to one fancy place does not mean that you know everything. Like, that's what I also tell myself, that, like, you're a head chef now, but like, maybe I should do another stage. Maybe I should go and work as an intern again, so that, there's so much more happening around the world that I probably don't know about. So one thing that I'm currently seeing is that there are a lot of young chefs. They're passionate. They have great palates. They can create dishes. But it's not about creating one dish. It's about creating 200 of them consistently every day. So till the time, like, you can sear a steak, but if you can't cook 200 medium rare steaks on a daily basis, you're not a chef. You're just a home cook. There's like literally no difference. So that's what the young chefs need to realize, is that, like, you need to first, you have to pay your dues and then kind of get there. And we have a shortage of chefs in this country. It's really hard to, like, especially in Goa with the number of restaurants that are opening up, it's really hard to hire someone, So I think their main challenge is not having the right amount of chefs. Everybody wants to open restaurants, but there's not enough staff. And having a kitchen team is like they're like your family. You have to believe in them. There's this certain amount of trust. You spend more time with your kitchen team than with your family. So like that's the harder part. Like I've had 4 sous chefs in 3 years, and like it becomes hard because you really invest yourself in someone so much, and then they suddenly leave, and then you realize that you can't really emotionally invest yourself in somebody so much. I cried when Varun left, but then I was like, this is life. People will keep leaving. You have to keep pushing. That's it.
I feel like you're a very young, old, wise man. A lot of what you're saying is actually the reality of this business. And maybe you have to go through it to realize it.
Yeah, all of this is something that only comes. It's a hit and try. You do it and then you learn it. Like you have to fall and then get back up.
You're in Goa, which I know over the last few years has, you said you were the only restaurant at the time when you opened in that neighborhood. But I know there's now a number of restaurants all around you, and not just around you, but around the entire city. And Goa is exploding.
Asagaon is, as we call Asa Gurgaon, or the new friends colony, I don't know, Parel of, I don't know Bombay, as I said. So, but yeah, so when we opened from 2020 till now, there have been more than 320 restaurants that I know personally that have opened up. So when we started Miguels, the 2 very good chef friends of mine, Chef Maya and Sanchit, we started this WhatsApp group called Chef's Night Goa. So the idea was, because like in Delhi and everything, there's a lot of rivalry between restaurants. There's a lot of competition. And a lot of people from Delhi and Bombay were coming to Goa to open restaurants because they were really tired of all this. So we started this group where instead of being competitive, we'll help each other grow and we'll all grow together. So from vegetable vendors to kitchen equipment to getting truffles or like sharing CVs, hiring staff, everything 0 to 100 was on that group. And even bitching about guests, obviously. I mean, that's a part of it. We started that group with like about 10 odd people, and right now we have 360 chefs and restaurant owners in that group. We meet on a quarterly basis. And most of the restaurants in Goa are shut on a Monday or a Tuesday, so we meet on a Monday night. And we help every restaurant to get the right vendor for produce, get the right staff. That's why we don't have any poaching happening in Goa anymore. So, that really made a difference in Goa. But even though we have that still, there are so many restaurants that open and shut because people just get excited in opening a restaurant without looking at the right target market, the location, how many restaurants are there. There are localities in Goa that have become so saturated with the number of restaurants, but people are still opening restaurants there, which does not make sense. So, like, you have to have a business plan in mind. You need to see if you get an ROI or not, or like, by the end of the day, that is what matters, right? An Excel sheet becomes your life. And if you don't break it down, just do it out of passion. Yes, I mean, passion has to be there, but then you have to sustain your life.
Restaurants getting it right or wrong is something that's a universal reality that happens in every city. But do you feel that this boom in Goa is a good, bad, ugly thing to happen?
It is good. It still is good. I'm really happy that it is happening because the direction to which it is headed is the right direction. We intend to work with local Goan farmers. All the restaurants want to do that so that we will have a sustainable way of working. The economy will be right. Instead of just importing goods and produce, we would rather work with what's around us. So the intention is right. But with the right intention and with all of this attention to Goa, there is also this aspect of extreme commercialization that comes in, which affects things a lot. I would hate to make Goa Delhi. That's not what I want. No.
So speaking as a true Goan local now, what are some of your recommendations for us to come and dine at? What are your favorite local haunts?
Hideaway is my favorite place to go, 100%. It's also now one of the best bars in the world. Padaria, obviously. Padaria Pazares in Banjul. Bladder and Fork chocolate chip cookies, I had to die for. Then Kajis is a local bar, hole in the wall, but lots of fun. There is this one place called Bhatti Village in Betim. Now it's pretty famous. That's also very, very nice for Goan food. There is also this place that I go to for crabs called Saikrupa in Portuguese. Very, very nice crab. Down the road is our everyday stop because it's right opposite Miguels. It's literally down the road from Miguels. And that's like an institution.
Oh, it's called down.
It's called down the road.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was like, what's it called?
And so a lot of people generally go down the road to drink. But because I know the owner, so whenever I go, he's like, Madhav, aaj crab aaya hai. And I'm like, I'll eat it. And he'll get like a 2-3 kilo crab. And I'll just like, I'll pack it, I'll go home, I'll put a towel on my bed and I'll watch TV and just eat the whole thing. So down the road actually has very nice food as well.
Great. Well, we're gonna make note of that list for sure. But no, you did a fantastic menu at Max Street Kitchen. It was it was fun. I think that's really important. It was, there was clearly a lot of technique to what you did, but not in a too much of a tweezer way, if I can call it that. It wasn't too much tweezer cooking, but maybe there were lots of tweezers around the kitchen, but we didn't get that sense. I think it was comfort, delicious comfort, and also very importantly, everything was perfectly cooked. Which can go wrong obviously when you're cooking in large quantities. This is where your catering experience comes in here.
On our first day, our aubergine was raw, to be honest.
I don't care about the vegetarians. So. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I love vegetarian people. I'm just saying that.
Love you guys.
No, listen, it's been so much fun. I'm gonna ask you a few rapid fire questions. So say the first thing that comes to your mind. Restaurant awards, yay or nay?
It's not going to be a quick answer for this one.
Take your time.
Oh.
This is not a real rapid fire.
Oh, okay, cool. A restaurant award, yay. But I think like it's like a very tight knit of people that you need to know. I don't know, because like I've always had this dream of being in the 50 best or like Rashmi Uday Singh coming to Miguel's. But like she's like God for me, like it's like when Veer Sanghvi came to Miguel's, I started crying before service. I called my mom like, Mom, Veer Sanghvi is here, what do I do? So yes, I mean awards, yes, but obviously like everyone should be recognized, and like the thing is that I just get shit scared when I get to know that somebody like this is coming in, so I think it should be more of like chefs should be like, hello, we're coming to your place, chill, don't worry, it's all good. Because like I start shitting bricks.
Well, I think as a seasoned, well, again, I'm not a chef, but as a seasoned restaurateur, I would say that I understand that there's that little nervousness around it, but they're just another guest, like every other guest.
Yeah.
And like you would treat every
I tell my
guest.
team the same thing, but I still get scared. Like
Fair enough. What's your favorite food city in the world?
Favorite food city in the world?
That you've been to or may want to go to?
I'm going to say Delhi.
Oh my God, you did not just say
How
that.
dare you? No man, Purani Delhi, Old Delhi, Daulat ki chaat, Matra kulcha and Nihari. I might make fancy food, but like Matra kulcha, 7 o'clock in the morning after partying from the road, any roadside in Delhi, nothing can beat that.
Fair enough. True Delhi boy. A bucket list restaurant that you are waiting to go to?
Oh, Franzen.
Oh my God. Okay, I should rename this season like Franzen. I don't know how many chefs
Really?
have said this. It's crazy. I think you should get all the chefs who've said this on this season, and we should just do a group trip and just get it out of the way. And anyone else who's got this on their bucket list, what is your favorite person to cook for? A Jain, a vegan, or a gluten-free?
Anyone and everyone. That's what we also try to, I mean, as much as we rant and complain about it, I do too. Like when I have a busy service and then the guest like, oh hi, I'm like this, I'll politely be like, yeah, I'll do it. But then when I go to the range, I'm like, fuck, why did you come right now? Like, obviously that happens. Sorry guys, please don't bite. But I think as a chef, it is our duty to cater to all needs possible. There is no point of me spending all these years in Switzerland and educating myself if I cannot cater to everyone's needs? So I would love to cook for everyone, and I would love to learn to cook everything in my life so that I can cater to everyone's needs, I guess.
I know a lot of chefs have not been to culinary school and had the formal education. So culinary school, yay or nay?
Culinary school, yay, but you have to do your background check before you go to school, because there's a lot of money invested that you spend to go to a culinary school. And every culinary school is going to provide you a different set of skill sets and knowledge. So you need to know what you want to do in terms of some culinary schools. You might get the knowledge but not the hands-on skill set for it. Some you will get the hands-on skill set but not enough time to get the knowledge for it. So you need to figure out what you need. So either do enough internships and then really think it through, plan it out, because it is an investment that will make a difference the rest of your life. See that it's Switzerland, SEG. Sorry.
You'll always be alumni now, it's fine. Okay, and who is the best chorizo supplier in Goa?
Krastos in Panjim, we've been buying from, two best actually. When we started, we used to buy from this lady called Filu Auntie in Mapsa Market. She's still there. She's as lovely as ever. And she will provide as much as chorizo as you want. But the chorizo we buy from now is this place in Panjim near Kakulo Mall called Krastos. Krastos chorizo is very, very different. Yeah. There is a distinct smell, flavor to it. It's insane. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but like sometimes when we're cooking the chorizo and I enter, I'm like, it smells like weed.
On that note,
there is some, I've left 3 kilos of chorizo. So when you cook, you can be able to smell and tell. Like
that will get me a lot of brownie points with Jay. So thank you very much. Chef, it's been so much fun having you on the podcast, having you in the kitchen, and I can't wait to come back to the restaurant.
Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us here. This was really a great experience. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you. Cheers.